Welcome to our podcast. Janky,
Ass,
dirty,
little.
tape.
Woo.
I wish the cat wouldn't be rubbing its
so
head on my arm.
So cute.
It's frustrating me.
He's the best. He or she, we don't know the gender. I told Barack to dig around in its genitals and he...
I don't like pussy.
Wow. Was that why you have like...
The pussy has ruined my life. That's exactly why I feel the way that I feel. That's what happens when you get involved with pussy.
How many kids do you have?
5.
Okay, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
How old are you? 35.
Jeez. They're gonna dox me live
Oh.
to the millions of followers that we have? Whatever, sure. I'm in my mid-30s.
Okay,
You were
yes,
close,
because
I
you're
guess.
10 years older than me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's start by aging me immediately.
Hello. Welcome to our podcast.
What if I wanted to pretend to be 29 for the sake of marketability?
Well, then you should have told me that. You should have told me not to say anything about your age, but you didn't, so...
Oh, well. I'll just edit that part out and no one will know my age.
I feel like the cat is our child, and we're arguing parent. This isn't good for it.
This cat's an attention whore. Look at it. It's right in the middle.
It's so
It's
cute.
literally looking at the camera.
I know, I'm so happy that he or she's here.
I'm not.
I don't know what it is.
Anyways, I guess this is the podcast cat. This is like a bodega cat, but for our podcast.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. What's going on with you? How are you doing? Are you excited to be doing this comedy podcast?
I am excited. I have a lot of weird thoughts, so it'll be fun to have an outlet to let it out at. Like, for example, let's exchange crazy stories, shall we?
Right off the jump, sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah, you got one for me?
Yeah.
I will listen as I sip on my
White Claw?
blackberry White Claw. That we are not sponsored by a White Claw, but if White Claw would be interested in sponsoring us, we totally would be down.
I have one too. I'm on the Joe Rogan diet except for alcohol. Shh, don't tell him, nobody.
Yeah, I'm on the Joe Rogan diet too.
I hope I start looking like it.
Except why would you want to look like a manlet? No one wants to. Joe Rogan doesn't want to look like Joe Rogan.
He's like the most successful man in America, so
Yes.
if I looked like the most successful man in America, that's pretty cool, right?
That's called extreme compensation. Have you ever seen him take a picture with anyone that's like taller than 5'8"? He like leans up on their shoulders like this on his tippy toes.
Yeah, but
So
it
he
doesn't
can
matter. It doesn't matter because so many women still want to fuck him. My mom does. My mom wants to have sex with Joe Rogan. We took her to 2 Joe Rogan shows in Austin, Texas. We put her front row so they'd make eye contact. I told her, Mom, get the titties out. And she said, Joe's an ass man. And I said, you don't know that. You've never talked to him.
I think Joe's an ass man too.
I've never seen his wife. I don't know what his wife looks like.
I feel like Joe Rogan is suspiciously not heterosexual.
You think so? You think he's gay?
It's a theory that I have. I have no proof.
Interesting.
I'm probably hurting my chances at the mothership, but
No, you're definitely not the first person who's ever set foot in the mothership to say that.
I mean, it just seems obvious to me. I smell it. There's a few people in the mothership sphere that I feel,
Are hidden gay?
yes, not so hidden maybe.
Like who else? Tony Hinchcliffe?
Most definitely.
I don't think he's gay.
Most definitely.
I genuinely don't think he's gay. I think
That boy pees rainbows.
he just sounds like he does.
Sounds, looks, carries himself. He's from Youngstown.
Maybe I just don't want him.
You want him to like you in that way?
I never thought Tony Hinchcliffe was attractive until like 6 months ago.
When you did kill Tony?
No, that was a year ago when that happened. I even didn't think he was attractive then. But then, the more I've seen his stand-up, and I've seen him live like 3 times now, his jokes, he has the most witty, smart jokes, and that makes me attracted.
He's very witty.
Mm-hmm.
He's very creative. He's a talented guy. I will not take that away. He's no Barack.
Okay, let's exchange crazy stories, shall we?
Well, you first.
Okay, this is a story about something that doesn't exist anymore because probably it was so problematic they had to make it go away.
My pride. Oh, that wasn't it? I'm sorry. Go, plead.
Okay, when I was in middle school, they made us go to Camp Joy. Have you heard of this place?
Camp Joy?
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of Camp Joy.
Doesn't it sound like a scary movie?
It sounds like a place where prostitutes are in a brothel.
Well, you're not that far off. This place ran an Underground Railroad reenactment. An uncomfortably realistic Underground Railroad reenactment. And they didn't tell us about it until we were there. This place really put the oi in joy.
What was the purpose of taking you to a Underground Railroad reenactment?
We thought it
Were
was
there trains?
In middle school, we did a field trip. They were taking us to a summer camp. We thought it was going to be kayaking and s'mores and all that normal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get there, and in the nighttime, they tell us, like, when it got dark outside, they're like, okay, kids, we're going to go do this Underground Railroad reenactment. And then most of us were like, okay, they're probably just going to teach us about it, talk about it. No, they took us in a field. They auctioned us off to different owners. They were yelling at us, calling us...
They sold you in an auction?
Yes, they were yelling at us. They demanded us and it was nighttime, and we're out in a field in the middle, out in the country. Out in the country.
This was a school trip?
A whole middle school of kids.
Why did they do
out
it at
in the
night?
Country. So it was dark and realistic, like what the slaves actually went through.
So you guys would look dark?
Maybe, because it's a bunch of white kids. That's funny. Yeah, so we're out in a field, and me and my best friend Brandy, she was black, we got really scared, and some of the kids started crying, but they were yelling at us, calling us little pygmies, and they demanded that we told them our skills and, like, what we're good at.
Was Brandy a part of this, too?
Yeah, all the kids.
Did they think of this before they, like,
it got shut down. It got shut down. They don't do it anymore.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I know, right? It would never fly today. I think I was probably one of the last year of kids that experienced it. But there's other people, I've seen TikToks and stuff of other people explaining how weird it was. And they're like, I remember this weird shit that happened to me in middle school.
Is that like an Ohio thing?
Camp Joy. Apparently there's a river in southern Ohio where it was pivotal to the Underground Railroad because if the slaves crossed over, they were in the north and they got freedom. So they became free. So Ohio has like some big piece of history in that. But like the way they went about the reenactment was too real. Kids were crying, they were yelling at us, and they sold us to different owners. We went to our owner's house. We had to sleep in this little dungeon. They didn't make us sleep there. We had to pretend we were sleeping for like 10 minutes. And then somebody came down and was like, hey, I'm rescuing you guys. We gotta go. And so then we ran through fields. We ran through the woods. They even this was the scariest part. They reenacted someone getting shot. Like someone with a shotgun shooting and killing a kid.
How old were you when this happened?
Middle school. I was like 12.
Who were the demented people that put this? This seems to me like something Jeffrey Epstein would be behind.
I know. All I was thinking about was boys. And the next thing I knew, I was like afraid for my life. Because they didn't tell us that the shoot was fake. Like it was nighttime. We couldn't see anything. We thought it was real. And then they had us all, they didn't have us in chains, but they tied our hands to rope because we got caught. And so then we had to go back to our owner's house. And this happened like...
There's worse things they could have done with them.
Yeah, they could have faked a hanging or done a real hanging.
I can't believe that's a real experience that you lived. And I'm still shocked that they had your black best friend live that trauma. I don't think she needed to learn that lesson.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I mean, it was uncomfortable then.
Maybe you little white asses could have learned that lesson, but...
I'm half white.
Look at her.
I should only...
If you're watching this, leave a comment and let me know what she is.
I'm half white, half Turkish. A lot of Turkish people, some of them are super dark complected and some of them are very fair complected.
The way she's defending herself is very white. Did I hurt your feelings?
No, I'm not... Calling me white doesn't hurt my feelings. I know I look white.
I'm sorry. I feel like it was a deep cut.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I really don't care.
At least I didn't call you a little piggy.
Yeah.
I could have.
Yeah.
And I chose not to. And I also didn't try to auction. They had a fake auction with the children. Mm-hmm. That is questionable.
They would have called you...
All right. You are Turkish. I don't know, man. The NBA players that are from Turkey look pretty white, too.
Yeah, I have some uncles that are super tan, like olive skin, and then I have some cousins that are super pale. You know the Kardashians?
I do know the Kardashians. Who doesn't know the Kardashians?
You're right.
Have you ever heard of the Kardashians? Have you kept up with what they've been up to?
Well, I just learned about him like 3 days ago.
No way.
Yeah, their dad was a lawyer or something.
He was O.J. Simpson's lawyer.
That's how he got famous, right?
Do you know who O.J. Simpson is?
That's why people order orange juice like OJ, right?
Yes, he was an orange juice salesman.
That's what I thought. And I also, and then the Kardashians are beautiful. Have you seen them?
His slogan was, "The juice is on the loose in a Bronco."
Well, anyways, I don't know if you've heard about these Kardashians, but they're beautiful. And their hair and skin tone is what a lot of Turkish people, just for reference.
But they're like not Turkish.
I know they're not, but they're some sort of Middle Eastern.
So your example of Turkish people was non-Turkish people.
Just trying to think of some celebrities that you would know.
This defense is getting whiter and whiter every time she talks.
I did a 23andMe. I have more Turkish in me than my sister.
And you have the same parents?
Yes, it's possible.
How does that work?
Because some genes win over the others.
Well, 23andMe is about to sell your DNA for like $20 million.
I didn't want to do it. My dad wanted me to do it. I told him, I said, they're going to clone me. They're going to take all my information, man. And he was like, Leyla, the government, you can trust them. He works for the government. He believes everything.
Your dad works for the government?
Mm-hmm. He works on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. He has to take a lie detector test every year. He can't tell me what he does for his job. All I know is he works on a computer. That's all I know.
Jeez.
I don't trust him. I don't trust my dad when
this
it comes
is how
to
the feds end up getting me. Through Leyla.
Look, I got my first tattoo was an alien tattoo. Back when I was 18 and word of aliens started coming around, I was like, Baba. I call my dad Baba because he's Turkish. So anyways, I was like, Baba, I know there's aliens on the base. They keep alien technology on Wright-Pat Air Force Base. Oh, Leyla, that's blah, 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 blah. You've been watching too much YouTube. And then I was like, sure, whatever. So I got an alien tattoo. And now when I asked him, since a bunch of information has come out, I asked him like a couple weeks ago, so Baba, what do you think about the alien technology on the base now? Well, it's not proof that it's from another planet, but they're seeing. And I'm like, okay, so you're acknowledging that there is some sort of unknown technology, but he's so unwilling to have like a discussion about it.
He's a professional.
He's hiding information.
Government con man.
He's hiding information.
Good at his job.
If I knew how to get into his computer and read that stuff, I don't even know how to start a computer. I'm
just kind of mind blown that your dad is a federal agent, and I'm just now finding this out in the middle of this podcast.
He's not a federal agent.
Sure, he's not. On the same episode where I'm finding out about your experiences being auctioned by grown-ups in the middle of some field in southern Ohio. Yeah, it was really weird. And then it ended like we made it to freedom, but they made us hide. Was there like a Harriet Tubman impersonator? No, and the weirdest part was though, the slave masters, they were all white. There actually were not any people in the reenactment that were black, I believe. It was all white people. Did they have fake slaves that were white too? No, all the slaves were us kids, and so it was an array of children. Black, white, Asian. See, it's because no self-respecting black person would volunteer to be part of that project. I know, they probably thought it was weird. I think the weirdest part is, they didn't tell us about it until we were there. Like, none of the teachers or anybody told us that was going to happen. That was the weirdest part. And also, I think it's much different. Like the real slave trade. If you voluntarily do a reenactment, that's one thing. But forcing little kids to randomly do it is so weird to me. Especially kids. Because, we don't understand everything. But adults, if you're like, okay, let's do this reenactment, you do it and you have a full capacity of understanding. And I mean, you're not that old, so this would have been like fucking what, 2008? Yeah, and do you know how embarrassed I was to be afraid around my middle school crush? I was like, fuck, I got sold for less money than you. This is so embarrassing. This looks bad. Was he black? No, Justin Kinley. Uh-oh. He's not going to listen to this. But if he's out there, that was my first crush ever. And he's not black. He was white. Is white. That's why he went for more. So you think because I'm half Turkish, I got sold for less? It makes a compelling argument for you not being white. I would say. They might have seen the olive come through on your complexion and said, offer less. She's not. She doesn't come from good stock.
Well, I think it's because when they asked me what my skills were, I was so scared. I didn't know what to say. So I said, I'm really good at folding laundry.
That's a great skill.
I said, I can fold your laundry so good. And then they were like, what about like cooking or mowing the lawn? And then I was like, I like the riding mowers. I ride up with my dad when he does it like that. Because I was a little kid, so I'd ride with my dad. And then they were like, all right, this is $3.
Were your parents aware of this shit? Like...
Yeah, when I got home, I told my parents.
No, but I'm saying, like, did your parents know beforehand? Because I'm assuming you needed permission slips for this thing to even happen.
Yes.
So how did they present it to your parents?
I don't think they did. There was no mention of an Underground Railroad reenacted by anybody until we were there, by the camp people. So still to this day, I have no idea if the teachers knew about it or not. I'm not sure.
Look up Camp Joy, and if anyone is interested in bringing that shit back, hit me up.
I think it'd be fun to do a different kind of reenactment, like a samurai, like a samurai Japanese.
I'm not seeing the correlation.
Have you ever played Red Dead Redemption?
I have.
Okay.
Well, what does that have to do with samurai?
Never
That's
mind.
cowboys.
Scratch that thought.
Those are cowboys.
I'd rather do the cowboy reenactment.
Okay. I like Red Dead Redemption.
Me too. Have you ever seen the show Westworld?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. You played Red Dead Redemption 2, though?
No, but I watch Diego play it all the time.
It's a really good game.
It's so entertaining. It's like watching a movie almost.
It's a really good game. My children watched me play it like in 2018, and they were really young, and they got really into it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a part where one of the characters, he's like one of the black characters in your game, and he was my favorite character, but he like gets shot in the head when you're doing like a bank robbery. His name is Lenny. Me and my kids were like, no,
yeah,
they killed Lenny, not Lenny. Because my favorite part of that game, you get drunk with Lenny, and then your character's like, Lenny, my boy, Lenny. And you're like looking for him everywhere. And then all the women in the bar look like Lenny. It's such a great scene. And then they go outside and they're like throwing up together. So you really bond with Lenny, and then he gets shot in the head during this fucking bank heist. That is a beautiful game. We're also not sponsored by Red Dead Redemption 2, but we're also R.I.P. Arthur Morgan.
Yeah, and it took an emotional toll sometimes. Like when I would watch Diego go through, and he's like, all right, I beat the game being the good guy once, now I'm going to be the bad guy. And he'd go through and just kill people, and the storyline unfolded, and then nobody liked him, and he was like an outlaw. It was really sad. It took an emotional toll.
So I played it that way too. So what I did, I was a scumbag, complete scumbag for the first half of the game. They'd show all these little cutscenes to let you know if you were a scumbag, and if like it was images of wolves, that means you were like a piece of shit. And then if it was like images of a deer with golden light, that means you were a good person. So I had wolves for half the fucking game because I got rich by hijacking trains and then robbing people at gunpoint, and then they would give me all their stuff, but then I would shoot them in the head and then take additional shit that they didn't give me. So I gave them a chance to give me all their stuff, and they did it. So then I would literally kill 40 people in this train. And then I had a trick where I would set the train just right on the tracks where the police could not get to me. And I could like escape, and then I could like go back to the train station and restart this whole thing. So I murdered at least 4,000 people with a shotgun. But then towards the latter half of the game, I started feeding bad, and I started making him a good guy. So then by the time he died at the end of the game, he got to see the deer. So
do you believe in simulation theory? What if this is a simulation, and just like you were in that game killing everybody, what if someone came along and just started shooting everybody? Because they're being controlled by a person.
Well, it's a very real possibility if you're in school right now that could happen to you. So it's not all that unrealistic.
That's why you should always err towards the good, even in video games.
And I do believe in simulation. But the way I view it, if I have to be good in this life, I want to do fucked up shit in my video game. Doing fucked up shit in my video games keeps me from doing fucked up shit in real life. That is my, like, well, I don't want to be a boring loser like I am in real life. I want to do badass shit that I can't do in real life.
That's interesting, because I don't feel like I need an outlet to do violent things. But I do feel like I need an outlet to, like, say violent things. That's stand-up.
Words are violence, if you haven't heard. Ask my woke friends. Words are violence.
Yeah, but I do just feel like stand-up is my outlet where I can say crazy things and let out the crazy.
So,
and it'd be okay.
When I was 14, I got in trouble with like a truancy cop because I was skipping school. And that was the dumbest fucking story. We had been skipping school with my cousin because we would like skip and go play video games. And his like stepdad caught us skipping school. So then instead of learning our lesson the next day, we skipped school again. But we practiced getting in and out the window in case his dad were to show up, we could escape out the window. But when you have a complexion like mine and you're not in your own neighborhood, and sometimes in your own neighborhood and somebody sees you going in and out a window, they start getting suspicious. Oh, yeah. So someone called the cops and we ended up getting arrested because we heard someone at the door, but it was the cops because they saw us practicing going in and out. Someone called the cops. So when we heard the door, they're like, your dad's here. And then we hit it out the window and hit the alley, and then a cop car pulls up on us. And we were able to convince them, like, yo, this is his house. We're not breaking in. But I was like 14 and I needed to be in school, so they put me in this cop car. Only time I've ever been in the cop car, despite the way I look. And when I got home, I turned on Grand Theft Auto, and I just went on like a 5-hour rampage of just killing cops.
No way.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary.
Which part of it?
The killing the cops part in the game. Just because that is a really scary situation. I've never been in a cop car, thankfully, but it's scary.
But, you know, that's kind of the point of a Grand Theft Auto game is to kill cops.
Yeah, but that's like me having a rough day of serving at a restaurant and then going home and like playing a video game where I'm like killing all of them.
Why not?
I guess so. I guess so.
You understand we live on a planet now where people actually don't do it in a video game? They would just go and just shoot up this fucking restaurant?
Yeah, but I don't have a need to shoot it up in real life or a video game.
Well, okay.
Just smoke some weed and relax.
So judgmental. I just want to kill some fucking pigs in my goddamn video game and not feel judged. Shit.
You're right, I'm sorry.
You should feel sorry.
I don't mean to judge you. I just know that if I'm present watching a video game and it gets really violent, I'm just such a girl about it. I'm like, oh my god.
But you loved Red Dead Redemption 2. That's like Grand Theft Auto with cowboys. It's made by the same company and everything. It's literally the same game. I killed a lot of cops in Red Dead Redemption also. But enough about fucking video games. This is a comedy podcast, not a video game podcast, but it could be. I did watch a reenactment at my kid's school that they did of the Underground Railroad, because Reynoldsburg, where I live, was part of the Underground Railroad. And then in this reenactment, some of the people that were playing the slaves were like white kids. They like mixed it up. Mm-hmm. So like some of the slaves were white kids and some of the slave owners were like black kids, which I thought was kind of cool, kind of woke. Mm-hmm. Kind of like how Disney movies and shit and TV are now, like race swap and shit. But I made a joke, and I remember my partner is white, and her dad is very white, and he was there. And I made the comment, I'm like, the slaves are white. Like, that's fucked up. And then he got so mad, and he's like,
white people were slaves too?
They were indentured servants. And then my thought was, all right, motherfucker, but they were white. There was no need for the Underground Railroad, because you know what? If you're an escaped white slave, you're just a white motherfucker walking around. It's a little more high stakes when you are fucking black and a runaway slave. And an indentured servant, that just means you got yourself in debt and now you're working that shit off. It's not the same.
Oh, is that what it means?
What did you think it was?
They had dentures. Remember how we talked about breast milk a lot last time?
Yes. Did you have something in mind?
No, I just wanted to ask if you remembered.
I do remember. We talked about breast milk quite a lot.
Well, the whole this conversation just had me remembering how I said that when I was a kid, I thought that black women made chocolate breast milk.
You had to bring that back. You had to.
Because it makes me laugh. It's such a funny thought.
It was such an important day. You're like, we need to bring it up again.
Yeah, I thought it would lighten the mood.
Who did we establish that strawberry milk comes from?
Gingers.
That is what you said.
Mm-hmm. And white breast milk comes from white women. And what other kinds of milk are there?
Banana milk.
Ooh, banana milk. Man.
The Asians.
The Asians? No, shouldn't it? If anything, it should come from Hispanics, right? A lot of bananas are imported from Mexico.
I'm really happy you didn't say black people, because that would have been a cancelable offense.
Wait, why? I don't know the correlation between bananas and black people. Is there a correlation? Oh, yes. All right.
See, that's how you know she's one of the good whites, It didn't immediately pop into her mind why that would have been a bad correlation. She didn't even understand the correlation.
Even if I did say that, I probably wouldn't have realized, even what the correlation. Oh, no,
See?
He's so cute, though.
But look, now I have a kitty ass hole in my face.
Whoa. It's getting on the mic.
See, now you're doing too much. You are in the middle. Now he's pressing buttons.
Oh my god, and the ass is in the face. Is it a boy or girl? Can you guys see?
The cat did that. That wasn't us.
I don't know if it's...
Alright, we need to... Alright, sorry. It's a very patriotic cat.
I don't know if the cat is a male or female, but I need to know because it will change the way I treat it.
What is it? Let us know in the comments.
Cat penises are wild.
It's a bitch. Regardless, that cat is a bitch.
How come... Oh.
See, so that cat should be locked in a room labeled the cat room, but I promise you it did some Spider-Man shit and broke through the ceiling and now joined us here.
How come other animals don't give... Is that strictly human?
I actually don't know, and I've never thought. I'm assuming there has to be some other head givers. Chimps look like they'd give head.
Yeah, there has to be, right? Because other animals have sex for pleasure.
Yeah,
Dolphins do.
Yeah, there's for sure people that give, people for sure, but animals that give head for pleasure.
Wouldn't it be funny to see?
That would be funny to see. I'd pay to see that.
I'd see that too.
Animals giving head. Interesting question. Dolphins too. When I was young, I read about a guy that had sex with dolphins.
A human?
Yeah, he was a human for sure. And he detailed the experiences.
Did he come in them?
I don't remember that level of detail, but I would assume so. But he made it sound like the dolphins were down. Of course, I think anyone into bestiality convinces themselves the animals are into.
The animal wanted it. He was totally down.
He's like, the dolphin bit its lip as I touched its throbbing vagina, and I was a little turned on by the whole thing.
I don't even know what most animals' genitalia looks like, or where it is located.
That's probably a good thing. If you did know what most animals' genitalia looks like, you're probably up to no good.
I should get an animal genitalia puzzle.
You said you had some questions that you wanted to share with me.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we bust some out so that we can wrap this episode up?
Abortion?
Abortion.
Sorry, I don't actually want to ask you, but I don't really care.
So you want to abort that question, got it?
Yeah. No, I just said it because I was wondering if you would answer it. Oh, yeah, what are your favorite words? This is one I really like.
My favorite word?
Mm-hmm. Do you have any?
I like the word condescending.
You like the way it sounds or you like what it means?
All of it. I feel like it's one of those words I go to when I want to sound really smart. Condescending. Yeah. It sounds condescending.
Yeah, it does when you say it.
What else? What other words? Let me see. I like,
My favorite words, I like the words melancholy, I like asbestos, and formaldehyde.
Melancholy, that's a good word.
I love that word. And it's a great song by the Gorilla.
I think, don't the Smashing Pumpkins have a song with melancholy in it?
I think they have a song called Melon.
I think they have something called melancholy too. Now, see, I'm a Google. But I think they have something besides just melon.
Okay. Well, asbestos and formaldehyde are two things that you don't want to have in your house. But I like the way they sound. What's the craziest place you've been?
See, they had an album called Melancholy
Oh.
and the Infinite Sadness by the Smashing Pumpkins.
I like
Look
that
it up.
album name.
Well, Doug has your favorite word in it. That tracks.
Are you good at spelling?
Not as good as I used to be. I used to be really good at it. Why? Test me.
Ooh, okay, what's a good word to have you spell? Can you spell melancholy?
Melancholy.
Did you say Olly?
No, Oly. Is there two L's?
I don't know. For some reason it didn't sound right to me, but I cannot tell you if you spelled it right without looking. I'm so bad at spelling. I'm infamously.
Why was the first result when you opened your phone a picture of two cats fucking?
I'm trying to
I wish
learn
you could have
about
showed the camera
animal
that.
genitalia. Okay, melancholy. Only one.
That's what I said. I spelled it right.
Oh, I heard it wrong. Sorry about that.
This is why she went for $3, just FYI.
Oh my god.
Lack of listening ability.
Spelling has never been my strong suit, but writing, I really enjoy writing, but you should try to read one of the things I write. It's basically like encrypted. Okay.
Yes. What else do you have for us?
Where's the craziest place you...
The craziest place I pooped. I'm already going to share this story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to share this story. So, when I was like in middle school, I used to have to walk to my bus stop, and I was almost at the bus stop, and it was like a 15-minute walk. But like around the 10-minute mark, I really had to take a shit. Like really, really badly. And there were no...
Wait, you had to walk plus 10 minutes to your bus stop?
Yeah, it was like a whole situation. I had just moved to Milwaukee. The school I was in wasn't like the nearest bus stop was like that walk. It was a hell of a walk. The 10-minute mark, I realized I really had to take a shit. It was too far to walk back home. The next stop was getting on a bus I would be on for 25 minutes. So I only had shitty options available to me, unfortunately.
Literally.
And the option I chose was to go into someone's side yard and take a shit in their side yard.
They probably thought it was a really big dog.
Yeah, I don't know what they thought. It was a huge log, though, for sure. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is I didn't have any toilet paper at all. So I had no access to toilet paper, so the decision I had to make was to grab loose leaf paper out of my binder and wipe my ass with the loose leaf paper. And I did the best that I could, but I didn't want to be caught in like the side yard and get caught in the act taking this huge shit in these people's side yard. So I ran to the bus stop and I just felt like I needed to wipe better than I had. So I grabbed and I wiped and I thought I was good. No one caught me. My hands kind of smelled, which felt gross. Like the whole thing was gross, but I got to school.
Your hands smell.
I washed them as best as I could. It was a terrible situation. But it's not even the worst part. The worst part is I used to go to this Boys and Girls Club after school. I went to the Boys and Girls Club after school. And this little girl comes up to me and says,
"Hey, were you wiping your butt with loose leaf paper at your bus stop?"
and my face just dropped. Like, can you imagine? I thought this was like a private moment. I got away with this fuckery. It would just be me taking this to my grave. And then this little girl who I didn't even know, recognized me, remembered it, and then called me out on it to my face. And the only thing I could come up with was, I have a twin. That was...
You did not say that. You said that?
I said I have a twin. The shame. I couldn't admit to that. I was caught red-handed. I had no other option. And all things considered, I feel like it was a really good lie given the situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's a quick comeback. She's like, were you wiping your ass with loose leaf paper this morning? And, no, I'm a twin. It's my twin.
That wasn't me. That was awful. Like, imagine, of all the people that could have witnessed it, it was somebody that was at the Boys and Girls Club.
Well, okay, that's pretty good. How old were you?
I would have been 12 when this happened.
Okay, 12. Wow, you were shitting in yards and I was at an Underground Railroad reenactment.
Yeah, I don't...
12's a wild age.
I feel like Underground Railroad reenactment is a little kind for what that read. I don't know that slave auctions were part of the Underground Railroad.
They were the beginning, right? They were the cause of the Underground
Yeah, they
Railroad.
were the cause, but this was like, they were reenacting everything. They were reenacting the fucking slave market.
It would have been funny if a kid shit during the auction.
From the sounds of it, a couple probably did.
If we were all like, okay, this is super weird, we're gonna fuck it, we're all gonna get out of this, let's all just like poop and pee and vomit during the slave auction so they have to like cease.
I think you can now see the quality of the content you will be getting on this podcast moving forward. So if we haven't lost you yet, you can expect a whole lot more of this coming your way. Do you have any final questions for us to wrap up?
When did you lose your virginity?
God, you're asking me all these terrible questions.
These are personal things people want to know.
So,
Nobody
I
cares
did.
about your take on politics. They want to know the personal things that you've actually been through.
I was later in the game. I was like 19 years old. But I will save that story for a different day. It is a
Why?
very interesting one. Because I've already given too much gold in one episode. I want them to come back for a future. I want you to
I want
remember.
to know. What if I'm not here when you explain it?
I want you to remember the question and then save it for a future episode. And I will detail the horrific experience, the traumatic experience I went through when I lost my virginity at age 19.
Okay. What was the question?
How did I lose? When or how did I lose my virginity?
Alright. I want to know now, but I guess I'll wait.
I can't give all my gold in the first episode, you feel me?
Was it a girl?
That'll have to wait.
What the fuck? Mine was a cat.
Was it this cat?
Yeah, that's how I...
Here, let me see what your questions are, and I'm gonna ask you one of these.
No, you can't read it! You can't read my notebook. It's like reading my diary.
But those are the questions you had prepared for me.
Not all of them. Some of them were just thoughts.
Why did you mix your thoughts with
Because
the
I had
questions?
the thoughts while I was writing the question.
Well, can you at least show me one of the thoughts that you wanted to hide?
One of the thoughts?
Yes.
Okay, this is the old lady with the purse, question mark? Look at that guy behind her. Like, damn, look at that ass.
He had a gyap.
And see, I don't really know the origin of why I wrote that. But I guess it was
It sounds like the origin was that guy's ass.
It sounds like a guy was looking at us, and I wrote it down, and I don't know why. And you see, this is why I don't want anybody to read my notebooks, because it scares me. Even my joke books, I will never let anybody flip through them.
Didn't you, lose one?
I left them in Kentucky. I was mortified that
Did you ever recover it?
Yeah, I got them all back, thankfully.
How'd you get the one from Kentucky back?
I went back to Kentucky.
Just for the notebook?
Yeah!
But who found
It
it?
was all three of them. Every joke I've ever written are in those notebooks.
But who found them?
I left them at the Caravan in Kentucky, the comedy club.
And somebody was kind enough to be like, hey.
Yeah, it was probably an employee that was cleaning the room, and they kept it in the office. But I was like, fuck, I hope that the manager of this club doesn't read my jokes, because she's gonna... I don't know, I was afraid of what they would think. I mean, hopefully
They totally read your...
Maybe, because when I went in to go grab them, I felt like...
They were like
judgment in
$3,
my eyes.
huh? I wouldn't pay that much. Alright, y'all. That is our episode. I think we've given you enough. Please like, share, subscribe, and tune in to our next episode.
Yeah, if you want to know how Barack lost his virginity, come back.
Yeah, well, we might save that for the next one.
I'm going to ask him.
We'll see if she remembers to ask during the next episode.
I will. I'll remember.
Alright, well, anyways, see you later. Bye.